Hello everyone, I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse. Here with us is the Geek Apprentice, Daniel, or Capt Bergerson, and the Jublima Goddess. Yeah, she is the sacred deity of the Chewbacca people. Anyways,
Wookiees?
Yeah,
Jesse?
You're the Chewbacca people. His people.
Oh no!
Yeah. Well, you can't group them all in. That's just racist. Assuming that every one member of a certain race all believes the same thing. That's racism. So, maybe it's just Chewbacca's family.
No, they're... You know what? Let's just move on. What were we about to talk about?
No, I wasn't saying all of the Wookiees believe in Jublima. I was just meaning...
I'm sure they do, though.
Maybe.
My milkshakes bring all the Wookiees to the yard.
Anyways, so on this episode of the Hylian Gamescast, similar to what we did last week, you guys seemed to enjoy it and you gave your thoughts. We read through some of the terrible reviews for Breath of the Wild. Now, someone did message me or comment, I forget which, and said that there's no such thing as a bad review. Like, there are good reviews and bad reviews because you can give a game a bad review or a bad score, but he was meaning because it is someone's opinion and everyone has their own opinion, like, basically there's no non-valid opinion because everyone has their own, but a review isn't technically an opinion. A review needs to
different.
A review needs to be factual
And constructive.
Yeah. So typically on a review, you can't go in and say, well, the music in this game just sucks. Because then you're going into, like, you're putting your own feelings in there and being biased towards what you like. Because if all of the songs are like techno-based songs and you hate techno music, you're going to think the music sucks, while millions of other people could think it has like the best soundtrack in the world. So, yeah, anyways, going back to the Breath of the Wild thing, the person said that, like, there's no such thing as a bad review, this is dumb or whatever, but
Then don't watch it.
yeah, that's not what we were talking about, or what we'll be talking about in this. To explain it for him, if he may be watching, or some other people, the bad review is, for example, last week we had someone giving the game a 1 out of 10, probably would have given it a 0 if they could. The review was left the same day the game released. He had probably played the game for 10 minutes and took longer writing the review than he did the game, because one of his major complaints on why the game sucked was because it offers no real way for you to upgrade, increase your stamina or your climbing ability or your speed when running, when it gives you multiple ways of doing both. You can level up your stamina with the spirit orbs. You can literally eat food. You can create and cook meals that do it, that let you climb faster or run faster. I think there's one that makes you climb faster. I still don't know if there's a meal that makes you climb faster, but there's meals that do everything, so I assume there is. And then there is, someone said pop. Yes, I popped my finger when I was doing this.
Yeah.
Because, like,
there's a
counting the
speed up
thing.
meal, which is not specific to climbing speed, but it does increase climbing speed.
Yeah,
but
so
it is
it goes with both.
running and climbing. But there is climb speed gear as well, so.
So if the speed
That's
boost,
like one of the first things you find outside the plateau.
if the speed boost on the mill increases your climbing speed as well, does that mean, like, when you wear the Dark Link outfit while it's dark and you can run faster, does that also increase your climbing speed?
That's a good question.
Or does that specifically
so,
say you
but I don't know.
run faster?
I don't know, actually.
Because it does increase your speed when you're running, right?
Yes, at night.
At night.
But same with the stealth armor.
What? Is that like a bonus after you
Also-
upgrade it?
Yeah, after its set bonus also increases your night run speed, if I'm not mistaken.
Alright.
That
yes.
aside, there are ways,
Yeah,
despite what this review said.
There are several ways to do both. And this guy literally, Like, you can play the game for about an hour until you find that it's time to cook a meal, and then after you cook a meal and like, oh, this gives me protection from the fire. And then there's other meals that you can cook on the Great Plateau that increase your stamina. So it's like, if you play for more than 10 minutes, when there's the side quest where the old man asks for a certain meal, and I think he teaches you that you can combine stuff. So like, just play the game for 10 minutes and you can find out, like, hey, if I mix this and this, it'll increase my stamina. The reason I hate this game is no longer valid. That is a bad review. Someone who literally doesn't play the game and tries to push their opinion off as fact. So anyways, that's also why we have first impressions. But even a first impressions, like, I played it for 3 hours. It was alright. Like Daniel gave on Fire Emblem Warriors. But Chublima.
Yeah, that's true.
Our Chewbacca goddess. What is the bad review that you have chosen?
Haha.
Oh, and really quick, everyone, again, this is for Wind Waker. I actually don't remember if I mentioned that. I think I just mentioned that last week. It was Breath of the Wild. Because Link's Awakening was just announced, we were going to do Link's Awakening, but the internet kind of wasn't a thing back then. I'd have to track down a bunch of old EGM magazines, or whatever other video game magazines was around at the time, and flip through a bunch of You're Playing with Power Super Nintendo ads, and find the reviews for the Game Boy games to get Link's Awakening, because I thought that would have been cool. But then I decided to do Wind Waker because that was my original choice until Link's Awakening was announced. And as we know, everyone used to hate Wind Waker, so I thought this one would just be fun.
And man, were you ever right. So, the one that I have is, I don't know what this is out of. Like, is it a 1 out of 10 or?
Yeah, Metacritic goes out of 10, so.
Okay, so this one is 3 out of 10.
Oof.
I played this on demo at a local games.
From?
It says Ryan H. I really want to call these people out. Nice.
Yeah, Ryan. Gosh, Ryan.
No, because like you could pick one that's like, this one's from GameSpot, or this one's from Nintendo Power, or whatever.
It doesn't say. Does
no,
it?
like you're probably looking in the fan submitted reviews.
Oh, that's
so
where
it
I
would
was
just
looking.
Yeah,
it would
that's
just
where I
be
am
their
too.
names. Okay, I'll get one from the other one.
Okay.
But yeah.
Anyways, so this one, I played this on demo at a local game store. The sounds were annoying, as every time Link moved, he made a stupid grunting sound. The graphics were too cartoony and a big turn-off. The gameplay was counterintuitive. I will not purchase this game. The original Zelda games were not children's games. Sure,
Yes,
they were
were.
appropriate for everyone, but they were not designed specifically to appeal to 8-year-olds and exclude adults. This is the worst Zelda game ever, and I think sales will reflect that. Nintendo has really lost touch.
Wow.
4 million copies later.
This is he's basing this off a demo, and also Link in Wind Waker grunts way less than he did in the N64 game.
He doesn't.
Right?
He doesn't
Yes.
grunt when you move. He just grunts when you roll or like jump.
Maybe they didn't like him pushing a block, and he went.
That's why I picked this one, because the fact that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't stand the sound of Link grunting. It's like, that's how Link communicates. He only grunts. We know him through grunting. What is wrong with you?
They even took a game that had no voiceovers and made him grunt. And A Link to the Past.
I hate that. Like that Link being too vocal is something that I like that they've toned it down in later games. But A Link to the Past did not need that. It's so annoying. I've talked about that before, but Wind Waker is not a guilty game about that. Like he grunts way less than in the N64 games. So
If anything, he communicates even more so through his face.
Yeah.
oh yeah, he's far more expressive through his face.
What were the
Lots of
other?
weird faces like this one. He does that
And
one
his
a lot.
eyes will look at stuff
Yeah.
which I really like.
I just can't believe that this entire thing was based off of a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even play buy the game or anything.
Yeah.
I wish I could have
Boy.
played the demo. If it would have been a different demo than the one that came with the collector's edition, because playing through the beta versions of the game is often quite fun. But the part about Nintendo doesn't make Zelda games or games for kids, all of Nintendo games, aside from the ones that are rated T for teen, I don't know if Metroid was, but Twilight Princess, and even Twilight Princess, they wanted it to be rated E. They tried to get it, but they ended up not being able to. Yeah.
I love
but
this
that,
in the chat. Horse says, "Let him grunt for Pete's sake."
Yeah. But it was even their intentions to make it E for everyone. And then even in Skyward Sword, another Zelda game made specifically for kids, they begin you with 6 hearts at the beginning of that game because they felt it would be too challenging for the kids.
They were wrong.
So that's why they start you with 6 hearts instead of 3. But anyways, because I've had some people comment on a video where I mentioned that Nintendo makes games for kids, and they're upset, like, Nintendo doesn't make games for kids, they just make games that can be played by kids. And I'm like, no. There are interviews where Nintendo literally says that part of their game testers to test out puzzles and levels and stuff are adults, and then young adults like us. They also have teenagers, and they have little kids. If a Miyamoto specifically on the games that he works on, if he finds that a lot of the kids are having trouble with a certain area, he will go back in, change that area to make it easier, and then have those same kids play through it again to see if it's gotten any easier for them. Because Nintendo, and especially Miyamoto, doesn't want to release, like, let's say Super Mario Switch comes out, whatever that is. Super Mario Switch comes out, or actually let's use Super Mario Galaxy since that's already a thing. So say Super Mario Galaxy comes out and everyone's able to play like 30% of their way through it, so they've played for like 6 hours or so, and then they get to a point that they just can't get past and they end up quitting, like a lot of people joke around that they did with the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time. So whenever they release Super Mario Galaxy 2, because even if everyone got stuck and hated the game after 6 hours, everyone still bought the game. So it would sell enough to where they make a sequel, but then nobody buys the sequel because they thought the first one sucked so bad because it was too hard. They couldn't get through it. So then they tell everyone, well, don't play that game. It gets ridiculous.
Sounds like Spirit Tracks.
Is Spirit Tracks hard for you?
No, it was just what happened is a lot of people did not like Phantom Hourglass. So Spirit Tracks came out and it was a sequel that had the same gameplay style, but they fixed a lot of the things people didn't like about Phantom Hourglass. People didn't play the game, they just saw it was another one like Phantom Hourglass, so I'm not going to buy it because I didn't like that game. Even though Spirit Tracks is like so much better.
Yeah,
so
you're not going, like you do go to the same area, but it's not like a dungeon place.
Not the same. Well, the tower in the central tower you return to, you don't go to the same rooms in the tower. So there's like a main staircase. The first time you go there, you go through some rooms on the bottom. The second time you go there, you skip that bottom floor, you go upstairs and you go second floor instead. So it's not so redundant like the what's it called, the Temple of the Ocean King in Phantom Hourglass. But because of that same thing, like people didn't like that repetition stuff, they just assumed that the next game was the same, so they didn't buy it. And then that was sad.
So anyways, everything that I said, to make it short, I was just explaining that in fact Nintendo, especially the Miyamoto games like Mario, Zelda, 90% of the other Nintendo games, like maybe everything except Earthbound, I don't really know, but basically everything is literally designed to be easy for kids. That doesn't mean it won't be difficult for kids or for adults, but it is designed to be easy enough for kids that they won't give up. That after a couple of tries, they will figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Unless
it is the Nehru... what was it? What's the Skyward Sword sand dungeon in the desert?
Linear mining facility.
Yes. Yeah. I gave up on the Linear mining facility.
What?
I was writing for Zelda Dungeon at the time, and it was literally my job to find spoilers and write articles about them, but I specifically stayed away from dungeon and puzzle stuff. Like I wouldn't write about those, and that way I wouldn't be spoiled when I'm playing through, because most of the game in Zelda, like you're running through dungeons and stuff. So anyways, I didn't want to be spoiled on the items or the bosses or the puzzles or anything. And there's a part where there's like, you have to use the gust bellow to spin a fan and a door raises up. And before you get to the room, you use it to spin fans to raise doors. But when I seen this door, I never noticed the fan above it. So I did every single thing I could in that room and other rooms and everything for like, I think it was like 2 days in a row. Like I just played the game all day long trying to figure out how to open the door, and I looked it up on Zelda Dungeon, and I had even like zoomed in on the door and like looked up at it and like moved the camera around to like look at everything to see if I was missing something, and I wasn't. And then it's like, no, you just blow the fan above the door, it's really easy. Literally no one got stuck on it. And I'm like, why did I not see the fan? And that's why games are better in HD, because you can notice stuff easier. But anyways.
I tried to shoot the eye in the first dungeon like 1 billion times. So I've got that going.
Oh,
for me.
Yo, me too. That's the problem.
I stood there and I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, because you have this idea, like every Zelda game, it's like there's eyeball on the wall. Gonna shoot it now, and everything's gonna be dandy.
Oh, dude.
Not this time.
I was watching Zelda Dungeon. This kind of relates, and then we'll go to Ilya. So get your thing ready, Ilya.
Yeah, it's up.
The Shadow Temple. I don't think it was master mode, because like you go in and you turn left in the Shadow Temple, but Zelda Dungeon was streaming someone was speedrunning the Ocarina of Time yesterday. I was waiting on Axel to stream, and then Axel was re-streaming or whatever Zelda Dungeon, because he used to work there. But anyways, someone was in the Shadow Temple, and I beat the Shadow Temple on the 3DS.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, so but I don't remember this change to where like you spin the statue around so it's pointing at the skull, like the real skull. But every time, like you'd get so many seconds and then the floor would fall out to where like you had to push it once, get off of it, get back on, push it again until it gets to the right one. And then the part where you use the hover boots to run across to get on the tongue that's hanging out to open the door. Beside it, there were 2 of those eyeballs that you had to shoot. And I was watching the gameplay like, this was not in the original game, but it wasn't reversed, so it wasn't Master Quest. And I'm like, is he playing a reversed version of Master Quest? And it was the 3DS version. So I don't know. It was just really odd. Like I was watching it like, I've never seen this before. Like I was actually addicted to it because I'm like, it's almost as if it's a brand new dungeon to me. But then they have a cow in the Deku Tree in Master Quest, which doesn't make any sense. So that's weird too. Anyways, Ilya.
Yes.
Yeah, what is your amazing review for us?
Okay. This is from some dude or girl, I actually don't know. Their name doesn't indicate anything. Cynical Shade. Tell where this is going.
Oh, it's Cynical from Instagram that follows us and talks to us and has all the fancy cars.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Like, what? Well, she gave it a 4. And they said, not a single moment where I actually enjoyed this game. It's genuinely tedious to play through, with the game rarely telling you where you should go and what you should do. And I'm like, okay, first of all, how can you be that heartless that you don't enjoy any aspect of Wind Waker? If it's just not your thing, that's fine. But there's got to be some element you like.
Yeah.
And it's not tedious except the Triforce fetch quest. Seriously.
I could imagine if you don't like the game, you could still, and I've done this, just put the game in the GameCube, turn it on, just so the credits theme, like the title music, yeah. Just
That's
so
enough
that plays.
to make anyone happy.
Because I used to have surround sound in my bedroom, and it was like, I couldn't play the game because my ex at the time was sleeping, and she didn't want the TV on. So like, I just turned it on, turned the TV down, so the Wind Waker music would be playing. And I'm like, this is fine. I can just imagine I'm playing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also, with the whole like, there's nothing, rarely telling you where you should go or what you should do. I'm like, first of all, Zelda has always been pretty good about giving you sly hints. Part of it is you have to figure it out and use your brain. And if you want a more linear Zelda game, there are ones that you can turn to, but even then require some aspect of brain usage. It's not a mindless, no offense to anyone that loves these types of games, but it's not a mindless first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Some people love those games, and that's totally fine, but these are puzzle games. Well, they're adventure games, but they have puzzles. You have to think.
The only part towards the beginning of the game that I can think of that you have to do that the game doesn't like hold your hand on, and even still, like it still does, but the playing hide and seek with all of the kids, I think you have to do that before you can progress at a certain point. And I don't think anyone tells you that you have to do that, but the kids literally run up to you and circle you, which gives you an indication like, oh, maybe I should talk to these kids. And then the first time you're in the Forsaken Fortress, because all of the rooms kind of look similar, it is easy to get lost. At least I do. So yeah, that's the only things I can think of though. But like the game literally does tell you where to go, because it's like they're like, hey, well, at first you don't even have to go anywhere. They just like literally shoot you through a cannon, and they're like, okay, this is where you go. And then after you do that, you get thrown in the water, and then you magically pop up on that island. And then on the island, you have the boat, and the boat literally tells you where to go. To like, you gotta go to Dragon Roost, I think. So it's like, it literally does tell you where to go, though. Like, it doesn't say, like, it's at this... No, it does say at this spot on the map, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It marks it with the red X?
Yeah, it does mark your map. And
then, like, the island... the island doesn't show on the picture, but the mark is there, right?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe I need to play again.
Yeah, and even all of the hidden heart pieces and stuff in the ocean, those are literally marked with an X too. Like once you find the treasure charts and stuff. So it's like the game literally does point you in the right direction. Not as much as like, I don't know, Ocarina of Time was still pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Like, you go to the Hyrule Castle, and then Impa's like...
She literally takes you outside, points you at the mountains, like, you have to go there.
You look at this mountain here, you gotta go there. Rock cannibals and...
Zelda's pretty balanced with, like, areas where they're like, that's where you go, and other things where it's like, hope you like exploring, because that's how you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, and
that's
then...
half the fun of Zelda is exploring it.
And then Sheik, after you turn into an adult, she's like, oh, you gotta go to the mountain, the forest.
Yeah.
I forgot what the other one was, but yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
Which they even did that in Majora's Mask as well, like the first intro scene. It's like, oh, you have to, like, mountain... Or forest, mountain, swamp. Yeah.
North,
go
south,
to those
east,
places.
West.
Yeah. And even Breath of the Wild, which is arguably the Zelda game with the least amount of direction, aside from, like, The Legend of Zelda.
No,
even
Breath of
then,
the Wild
as far,
points you in the...
Breath of the Wild. It does, because when you finish the plateau... Wait, well, first of all, on the plateau, it's like, there's a mark on your map. You go there. Then the old man is like, check it out. There's a shrine there. Maybe you should go there. And maybe there's these other shrines. Take a look from the thing. And then once you're done the plateau, he's like, head past the canyon to Kakariko Village. And
he literally points. He's like, there's ceiling peaks. Go that direction.
Go there, and then you go.
Zelda mark
and then
on the
there's
map as well?
still huge glowing towers all over the map. You can't miss them. So
Yep. And even if you do get off track,
like you could be like in Kakariko and see, probably if you are in the right spot, can see the tower in Tabantha region.
Yeah.
I'm like, the world is your oyster. Go for it.
But sorry, Choops.
Oh, I was just gonna say also the Zoras were seeking out a Hylian. They see you and they're like, go that way.
I'm like, go.
You side on, like, unless you go up the back way on the waterfall.
Yeah, but otherwise, like, you'll get flagged down by like 6 Zoras. Go talk to Sidon, please.
You must.
Yeah, so after the Great Plateau, from playing the game myself, because I was originally not going to go where he told me to, but I kind of wound up there anyways, and I thought the game was made in such a way that like you don't have to go there, because you can just choose to go the exact opposite way if you go south. I don't think there's like dungeons that direction, but or divine beasts or whatever. And then like you can literally see them on the map too, like, oh, where are the 4 dungeons at? Well, those are the giant robots you see flying or crawling around, the giant spider looking thing on the volcano. But anyways,
is Gecko.
Yeah, I thought the game pointed you in the direction of Zora's Domain so heavily that I assumed, just by chance, almost everyone who played the game went to that as their first one, because I wasn't trying to go there. I knew I was supposed to, and I still wound up there anyway. Because, like, you don't directly go to Zora's Domain after the Great Plateau. Like, you gotta go to the tech lab and the place with the old woman, and, like, back to the tech lab, and then back to that place. And then you eventually find your way to Zora's Domain. So it's like hours into the game, and you have a chance to go almost anywhere. But because it points you north, I just assumed everyone also kept on going north, because it is almost random that you stumble into everyone's husbando.
Yeah.
Prince Sidon.
Prince Sidon.
So...
a Hylian?
Yeah, I was actually shocked when people told me that like their first divine beast was the one in Gerudo Desert, and I'm like, how did you wind up in Gerudo Desert before?
I put that one off for so long.
I like my most recent playthrough. I think the Valmero, the big bird, was my first one, but that was because I like decided intentionally that I was like, I like made a plan of like, this is where I'm gonna go first, and this is the order I'm gonna do everything. But just the first 2 times, naturally just playing through the game and just exploring, it's hard to not stumble into Zora's Domain first. It's like
I think
very funneled that way.
Grace is one of the best first champion things to have. I prefer getting Rivali's Gale first.
Yeah, I get Rivali's Gale first.
Super helpful. But when you
that's why I
first
did
play that game,
Yeah.
Well, when you first play through it, you die so much before you understand all the mechanics right away, and you're like, Mifa's Grace, good. I need that.
Good.
I
And plus yellow hearts. Yeah.
We were talking about Wind Waker. What happened?
Yeah, because I was talking about how the game, like, it does point you in the right direction, or at least it gives you a good idea. Unless, the only thing I can think of is if he just kept tapping A and skipping through all of the texts. Then it's like, well, yeah, because there's no voiceovers in the game. Well, there is. Like, Link says, come on, or whatever.
Oh my goodness, that reminds me, when I was a kid, I remember one of my brothers we'd always play through all the same handful of games, right? And I remember he was playing through, I'm trying to remember which Zelda game it was. I can't remember, but I remember him coming up to me and asking me, and he's like, what do I do at this part? And I'm like, oh, this guy literally tells you what to do. And he's like, what, when? And then I was watching him play, and that's what he'd do. Like, any text box, he'd just skip it. And I was like, that's why you don't know what to do, man. It's because you don't read anything that anyone's saying to you. You just ignore everyone.
You even miss the funny parts too, like the Gorons trying to hug you. But anyways, Ilya, was that all of yours? Just that short few sentences?
It was a short one.
Yeah.
Because the other ones just hurt to read.
Alright. Wind Waker
Jesse
literally does point you in the right direction. Yes, Daniel.
RPG in the chat says there's a feedback sound.
Oh, I hear it.
But I don't hear it, but...
Sounds like a fan or something.
Oh, that's my
If it's a fan,
computer.
It's probably my laptop over here.
No, it's mine.
Well, there's about 73 fans watching, right? There's 68 fans, watching. Sorry.
Do you still hear it?
So, a quick update on that. What that mostly is my one of the fans to the CPU in my computer. And it may even be the GPU, because on the CPU, there's supposed to be like 5 or 7 fan blades or however many, but one of them is broke, so it's unbalanced. So as it spins around, it's almost like when you have a washing machine that's unbalanced and it like rocks back and forth.
Yeah.
Really, that's not you.
Have you guys ever had that issue?
Me? Okay.
No.
Yeah. You guys never had that issue? Having a washing machine for clothes that's unbalanced and it like shakes?
Shakes your whole
in
house.
our old apartment, yeah, it's just because our washer sucks.
Yeah. So
Whenever you put like a comforter in there, it's like jumping everywhere, and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
All right.
So, have you really not had that, Daniel?
No.
I'm more surprised by that than
I take my laundry and I literally like the entire basket. I dump it straight in. I'm like done.
Maybe that's
Shove it
why.
out a little bit.
Maybe that's why. User error.
Do you have a washing
sort
machine
it.
that goes like this, or is it like you have to put the clothes in like this?
From the top and spins like that.
Yeah, mine's from the top.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense then. Maybe you're just perfect.
Maybe. Or maybe I don't notice because I put the laundry in and then I leave. I like walk away. I go to the other room or whatever.
No, you would notice because it like shakes half of your
His
house.
place is a different place. Like it's a big shared place. So he wouldn't notice from where he is in his house.
And I stayed when I was in college because the moment your stuff is done, people are gonna take it out and dump it somewhere.
But I mean, like,
So I
even
stayed.
I've had like previous places I've lived in with like in-suite laundry and stuff, and yeah, I don't know.
That doesn't make sense.
Daniel's just a perfection. Daniel is also clean with his family, though. So that's probably where it comes.
I don't know what you said because you just
Because
cut out
it
a
went.
lot.
But,
Yeah, you stopped glitching as
Probably
soon as
said
you took a
something
drink.
Really rude about me.
When you took
No,
a drink,
I
you
said
stopped.
that you're like the
Daniel's
neat freak in
lonely
the
and he
family.
has no friends, so
God.
that's.
I'm your
Thanks.
friend.
No.
What?
So Daniel confirmed what I
just
always
kidding.
thought about him. That he is perfect.
Yeah.
No, that's wrong.
So,
That's incorrect.
Daniel, do you have your thing that's wrong? Also,
Do
we're
I
gonna
ever?
try to get through these a bit faster. I have
Yeah, everyone shut up.
I have another podcast. It was funny. I'm
He's
getting
breaking up with us for another
I'm getting
podcast.
I'm getting off subject again, but a minute ago, Ilya was literally like, weren't we talking about Wind Waker? Trying to push us back on topic. We talked about Wind Waker for 2 seconds, and then Daniel was like, well, this story with my brother.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Daniel,
That happened while I was playing Wind Waker.
tell us the story of the person reviewing the game wrote.
This bad
Yes.
review. You're
For
gonna love it.
the 70-some people that are
So-
watching.
Do you remember how the review that Chub was reading was from a guy who only played the demo?
Mm-hmm.
I got bad news for you about this one. So Omega B.
What year was it written? But yeah,
In,
Ilya, what year
this
was
in
yours?
2003.
Mine was 2003 as well.
mine was 2004.
Okay.
Oh, you're late. Omega B wrote, I can't believe this. They could have made this game look so
Oh,
awesome.
I remember this one. I read it.
I mean, WTF is Nintendo thinking? It looks like they designed the game for 6-year-old kids. Nintendo! You guys better get your act together or I foresee GameCube not making it to GameCube 2. Thank God I bought a PS4, or sorry, not PS4, a PS2. Thank God I bought a PS2 instead. I mean, I was gonna get a GameCube just for Zelda. I'm glad I didn't get it. So
he
basically,
didn't
he didn't play. He wrote a review. He gave it 2 out of 10. He didn't actually play the game, though.
That's the ultimate being butthurt over graphics because you can't get over yourself.
Guys, we didn't get the GameCube 2 because of Wind Waker.
Oh my gosh.
GameCube didn't get to GameCube 2, guys.
Wait, no, I was replying to the guy in the chat that said, when does Wind Waker meow? I typed out like the island where you have to take a picture of the old man. Yeah, it was really weird.
Windfall Island.
Not only does he
He
have
meows
voice,
when you're following that girl. When you're following that
Oh.
poor girl and he goes.
I thought it was the man. That way you can like
No.
take the picture of him when he turns
Nope.
around. All right.
It's when you're
No,
following.
it's when you're following the poor girl that used to be rich.
Once again, I am wrong about Zelda, but as I learned yesterday, so I am 99% sure we are the most knowledgeable Zelda podcast in the world. I explained this to
Aw.
Daniel yesterday.
It's because we have bananas.
I don't
Yeah.
know anything.
They're a
And-
good source of
banana.
potassium.
No, it was a private message between Daniel and I, and it ended with me saying,
I'm gonna
This-
go and eat a pine cone.
no, I was like,
That's what you said.
I think
No, man, this is a chair, by the way, not a pillow, but thanks.
I forgot what I said, but it was like, I think I've proven my point, and that is that I have no life. because I know too much about Zelda. Because there was other Zelda people that I was talking to that were fans of the game, and they didn't know a lot of the stuff that like we talked about months ago. And it's like, maybe it's just where I only focus on Zelda and everyone else plays tons of other games, and I'm just like, no, just give me more Zelda. But anyways, yeah. You said there wouldn't be a GameCube 2, Daniel. That's what they said in the review?
That's what they said in the review.
Why would you want a GameCube 2?
He said, you guys better get your act together, or I foresee GameCube not making it to GameCube 2. So, like, it would evolve like a Pokemon.
Yeah, no,
I'm very confused, because if they're going by the PlayStation and Xbox, like Xbox One,
what?
Or Xbox 360.
Xbox was just Xbox 360, and then Xbox One. So they got everything wrong.
I like the
PlayStation did it.
The rumored
PlayStation did 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes sense.
The rumored name for the Xbox One was like the Xbox Infinite or whatever.
I like Xbone.
And it
We
would
could
just been
basically
like,
just do like Nintendo 1, 2, 3, 4 and just keep going. We don't even need an actual console name. We're just Nintendo.
Yeah, they could do
yes,
that.
my console, the Nintendo One.
And I have Nintembos.
It's kind of what the first one was.
Yeah, it was the
They're
Nintendo Entertainment System.
Like what? It
If
was
anything,
almost as
it's
generic.
just called the Entertainment System.
Yeah.
If you really want to call it anything.
Yeah, they were called Nintendo something until the GameCube.
Yeah, so with
Nintendo 64.
With the first one, it's like they couldn't have been more literal with it if they would have called it Nintendo Video Game Console.
Yes.
Because like instead of saying that, because
True.
they didn't want to use video game, they wanted people to think of it like in a different way, because they didn't want to like just release a video game console or a computer.
Gaming stigma at the time.
Yeah, so they were like, it's an entertainment system, not a video game console. And then I think did it have the keyboard with it as well?
In Japan.
In Japan, yeah. So like they wanted people to think that it was also computer-esque.
But in North America, they designed it to load like a VCR, right? Because they wanted it to have that look. But
yeah, and it came with the robot.
That was actually funny though. You were mentioning. Oh, I love the robot. I love Rob. But you mentioned earlier that like they always have the name Nintendo in the consoles, but they actually didn't even stop. Like if you look at the marketing, like GameCube, I think even on the loading screen it says Nintendo GameCube.
Yeah.
And then when it has like the localization things, they always say like GCN, which is for some reason GameCube Nintendo.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we don't. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, and it's just I think Wii and Wii U were the only exceptions where they were just like the Wii U. But everything else is like, I've got to get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS. You know, they just have the long form.
No, my new 3DS.
I knew. Oof, my bad.
But with it, if you don't say Nintendo Switch or Nintendo 3DS, you're saying the name wrong, and we get in trouble.
Yeah.
We can't say the Switch. We can't say the NS. It has to be Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel wrong.
So
and games have to be like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch. Very long, very drawn out.
Who's got time for that?
It reminds me of when things have like official titles and you are required to say the full thing, or the managers, supervisors will get upset. But anyways, we did not get this is a true story, guys. We did not get a GameCube 2 because the Wii was basically a 1.5.
That's true. Ooh! GameCube with 2 candles in front of the TV.
It was literally so like it had the same CPU GPU thing, like the main chip that gives it
it had
power.
Widescreen.
Yeah. Well, some GameCube games were also widescreen compatible.
Oh, fine.
But the adapter for it was like super duper expensive to get progressive scan and make it widescreen and stuff. But anyways, the main processor in the Wii was like just an overclocked GameCube thing, and then it had a little bit more RAM, and that's why like games didn't really look that much better when PlayStation 3 and everything.
But they had a widescreen, Jesse.
Yeah. So we can go to the next thing here.
Which is, did you review?
Huh?
What?
I'm sorry.
I
Did you start speaking German for a second?
You're just cutting
Oh
out.
no, I'm not gonna do mine because we need to just
I don't
move
think.
on.
Did Ilya did you do yours?
Yes. It was
Yeah.
the weirdo who was like. See, it was so dumb. I can't even remember.
It
yeah.
doesn't.
No,
We got
that's
into a
one.
very long conversation with people not paying attention.
Yeah, we went on a tangent about how the game does not point you in the right direction. Yeah, that's.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
just
I
didn't
remember now.
get Daniel by saying we had a conversation about people not paying attention.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember what you're talking about.
I remember. It's not that I wasn't paying attention. I just bad memory.
No, that's when
It's different.
we went on talking about Breath of the Wild and everything because I believe they said that the game gives you no, like it doesn't show you where to go or anything,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you get lost.
Yeah.
And then
It's like even Breath of the Wild to an extent does.
yeah, wait, didn't he?
And
Was
that's
that
free.
he also
I said
said that it was
That's,
No.
made for kids, or was that on Tubes's?
Yeah.
That was mine.
I think
Yeah.
all three of us said that.
Okay.
All three of them.
All of us to an extent. I
Because
think.
it's funny that they would say
Graphics
that
are so childish.
Yeah, it's
You're childish.
it's funny that they would say like, why would Nintendo make this game for a kid, and then be like, but I couldn't figure out what to do in it. So like, I'm dumber than the like yeah, it's just someone
Yeah,
like
wait.
putting in all caps like I'm dumber than the average kid, and Yogi's smarter than the
Or are
average
you
parent.
smarter than a fifth grader?
Basically.
Yeah.
And most of these reviews, little petty reviews, they talk about the graphics like being like, these are childish, immature graphics. I'm like, your review is immature. Grow up.
Link shoves his sword through Ganondorf's
It's the
face.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
much of it is clearly like rage typing,
Yeah.
like with the ellipses.
Hey, Daniel,
and the
can you turn your video
caps
camera
locks
off and turn it
on
back
and
on?
on?
Turn your
Why, you
camera
don't
off.
want to see my face? All right, I'll turn my camera off. You don't have to look at me anymore. Fine,
No,
you happy
it
now?
was-
You don't have to look at my face anymore.
No, I was just wondering if your lips
I'm leaving.
would sync up again.
No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Is that better?
Yeah. Your,
Yeah,
your,
okay.
your lips got your words got out of sync with your lips for a second.
You know that
You weren't
happens
dubbing
sometimes.
yourself correctly.
Yeah.
I find it happens when I'm streaming, like almost every time. At some point, it'll become desynced, and then I'll have RPG in the chat being like, "Your video's desynced again," and Chicken Perm will be, "Can you turn the volume up?" And then I just don't know how to do any settings. Basically, I don't know how to work on stream settings. So
The other day I did something really stupid to where I've been putting those custom intros on the videos to where like
Yeah.
we do the like
with colors,
the Zelda mailbag with asking them a question and then giving them the best answer a shout out to have more participation. Because I talk kind of slow most of the time, I went through and sped that up. So like it's
just sound like a squirrel.
no, like it doesn't go
Up
like
your
twice
audio?
as fast. It goes like 10% faster. So like if the full length is 100%, I like set it to 90%. So like if it's 100 seconds long, then it goes fast enough so it's like 90 seconds long. So it's not like super fast, but it still gets them through the longer intro faster. But because I care. But anyways, I had left that audio effect on when I tried rendering the entire video, and I noticed Ilya, like her voice kept getting out of sync with her thing, so I would go through and re-edit it and like match it up halfway through, and I would render it again, and then it would be like out of sync at another place, and I kept going back and trying to fix it, and then I was like, wait a minute, am I really this stupid? But anyways, your eyes got big, Ilya. What's wrong? Was it my story or something?
No, I just.
Is Daniel
My brain
doing
is going
something?
all these different things. It was RPG's comment about Daniel.
No, he's actually Japanese. Yes. You guys don't see the behind the scenes thing. It's like at a Nintendo Direct when Alan
That's the best typo I've ever seen.
It's the worst typo.
when Miyamoto is giving a presentation and Bill Trennan's right beside him, like instantly speaking in English. That's what we do with Daniel. There's another guy besides Daniel off screen that has the real microphone.
Oh my gosh. Jesse, did you even read this?
No, I don't. What is it? I'm just a porn lip.
Went.
Okay. All right.
Okay, what's next?
This is a Christian Minecraft server, Daniel. You're not allowed to talk
I'm
about.
actually crying.
Is that a real thing?
Me too.
So once my grandmother, she had caught one of her other grandchildren looking at bad stuff on the computer, and I was over at her house one day, and when I asked to get on her computer, she was like, "Yes, you can use it, but don't be looking up any of that prawn." And I'm like, "What's a prawn?" Like,
It's seafood.
It's
yeah.
Tron.
Prawn recipe.
Tron porn.
Oh
Yeah. You're usually the one that's
no! I
like,
thought you were our
Yeah.
incorruptible. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
I won't do it on my stream.
no, you're the
Ilya's
one
not
that's
allowed
like,
in my streams anymore.
even on your own server, Ilya, you're like, don't like suggest a bad word.
I know.
It's me.
It just came out. It was too easy.
Yeah. But you're suggestive too, because I've heard you say fudge 1,000 times. And that's suggestive.
Maybe she likes fudge, don't you?
I actually
It's
don't like
delicious.
fudge.
No?
It's too sweet.
Oh, alright.
Oh. Why did he leave?
It is
Hello-
too sweet. Actually, you're right. So
Hello everyone, I am Jesse, or GameOverJesse. Here with us is our goddess, Daniel. He's not
I'm
really...
actually dubbed over.
Yeah, he's not really a goddess
Japanese.
because he is evil. He cuts the heads off of Eevees and wears them as clothing. And then we
Not
have
just Eevees.
and then we have the wonderful Ilya. And then there's Tubes. Who has
Me.
really nice teeth.
That's a really
purple
strange
hair.
compliment.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Ilya Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.